Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Unquestionably Raw podcast. Tonight, we are previewing the Lakers' upcoming 2016-2017 season. So, fellas, jumping right in, Mike, I'm going to go to you. The first question we have, it's kind of a two-parter. So, we'll cover the first part, let everybody go around, and then we'll come back to you for the second part of it. Looking at the depth chart, obviously, we know D'Angelo Russell's going to start at the point. Luol Deng is going to start at the small forward spot. And Timofey Mozgov is going to start at center. Who do you foresee starting at the shooting guard spot? You got Jordan Clarkson against Lou Williams. And then the power forward spot's kind of open with Julius Randle battling Larry Nance Jr. Who you got for those spots?
To me, it's got to be Clarkson to start because Lou Williams is a natural six-man guy. That's what he's built his career off of. And just Jordan Clarkson's athleticism can change the game a little bit just to start off. And skill-wise, Julius Randle's got to start because Larry Nance is a pretty good role guy. But from what I've seen in the preseason so far, he wants Randle to get the rebound and go. He's just got to make better decisions. I know the other night he had one where he turned it over up two with 40 seconds left. But the skill that guy has, seeing him from 17 to now, carrying the speed and the handle from high school all the way to the league, he's got to be the starter.
Okay. Gonzo, who do you think starts at those two spots?
I'm going to say Clarkson. And honestly, I think Clarkson is the best player on that team, to me, in my opinion now. Power forward position-wise, I would have to say Julius Randle. He's a double-double. The guy can run the floor. And right now, being a young team, they're going to need a lot of rebounds in the starting lineup. So him and Mozgov together, I think they can get a lot of rebounds, to kind of keep them, get them a lot of possessions where they can at least get more attempts to score, even if they don't make them the first few times around. So I think Julius Randle and Clarkson definitely.
Okay. Matt.
Obviously, power forward, Julius Randle. Just a better basketball player than Larry Nance. Larry Nance is going to hustle, play some defense, hit the occasional setup shot. And then at shooting guard, obviously I think it should be Jordan Clarkson, but I don't know why. I have a feeling he's going to go with Lou Williams, which I think is freaking stupid, but I actually think he's going to end up going with Lou Williams.
He's been playing
I don't know why.
So far.
Yeah.
Preseason.
And he's giving Nick Young minutes too. I'll touch on that stuff in a little bit, but I think he's going to go Lou Williams. That's freaking dumb. I mean, you're already got Deng in there, which I actually think Deng's a good player. I think he's good for this team to help the young guys learn how to win and learn how to play. But Lou Williams, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, obviously, Lou Williams since way back his sophomore year in high school. He's, South Gwinnett High School. Obviously, being a Sixers fan, watched him kind of come into the league. Potent scorer, fits perfectly with that second unit. The only reason I could think that Luke Walton would want Lou Williams to be on that first unit is to have Clarkson come off as more of an energy guy, but I still don't think it's the best fit. And as far as Julius Randle goes, I mean, it's no doubt he had a double-double last year. He's only going to increase that this year. Be able to kind of be more of a, like you said, Mike, push and go kind of forward, get it up the floor quickly. He is working on that outside shot. If he can consistently knock down an 18-foot shot, he's able to stretch the floor with Mozgov kind of down low. And with that ability on the actual boards, I think he'll complement Mozgov as well. And Larry Nance is an intangible guy. He's somebody that just fits in as a glue guy off the bench anyway. So.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, going back to you, the second part of the question, there are a bunch of guys kind of there sprinkled in on the second unit, kind of vying for minutes. You got Yi Jinlian that came back from China. He was in the NBA previous with the Nets and the Bucks. Very uninspiring career to start off. You got Tariq Black, who signed a guaranteed contract this offseason. Anthony Brown, who's a 3-and-D guy. Jose Calderon, veteran point guard. Nick Young, of course.
Yeah.
We all know what he is.
Swaggy P.
And, of course, their prized rookie, Brandon Ingram. What do you think of the roles for will be for these guys, and kind of what will happen this season?
With Nick, I'll just go straight to him. He's coming off one of the worst years he's ever had, and part of that is because Lou Williams came in to be that six-man guy. He tried to fall into that role of being a six-man, come off the bench and get straight to scoring, but now he's asked to do more. He's got to play D as well, and instead of just being a shooter, and that's going to be hard for him because he's got Brandon Ingram, the future, standing right there behind him to play next to Lou Williams. I don't see E making a whole lot of impact. He's back in the States, but I don't know. He might as well just get back on that plane and be the MVP over there or try and make an all-star team. And Tariq Black, he's going to fold in there and be a defensive guy, rebound, and energy. That's all I see out of him. He's been trying to do some stuff in the preseason that's getting out of his character. He needs to get right back into that Joey Dorsey role. Go rebound, go the guy. That's what he needs to do right there.
Yes.
That's a perfect comparison for
Yes.
Tariq Black, Joey Dorsey. That is like spot on.
They are the same dude to me.
Yeah, basically just a little, basically almost pretty much the same height too. So yeah, same game and everything. Gonzo,
Yep.
what's your thoughts on some of the bench guys?
First, I want to establish, just looking at this bench, and looking at this team, is this a team that this is going to be a team that makes the playoffs? No. So technically, everything is a tryout now for everybody on that bench. And I got to agree with Coach Mike. He can go back to China. Seriously, like he wasn't anything he wasn't much when he was here the first time. I'm not expecting anything now. He's gotten older.
Oh man.
Black, not expecting much from here. Anthony Brown, Jose Calderon is on his way out. Nick Young is really on his way out. He's just in a role now, just in case Brandon Ingram doesn't take that step forward like they think he should. Because trust me, if Ingram pans out like they think he should, and he's averaging 10, 12 off the bench, it might be bye-bye Nick Young. So right now, that whole bench is expendable. They can get rid of everybody on that bench.
It might be bye-bye Nick already.
Yes. Honestly.
Yeah, Matt.
I agree with everything that's been said for the most part. With Jose Calderon, I think he's kind of he's there to bring that veteran leadership, just kind of stabilize that second unit a little bit, give him some outside shooting because we know he shoots the ball extremely well. Brandon Ingram, I don't know. This guy, like you look at his numbers in the preseason and they look awful. His shooting numbers are trash. I don't know if this guy's just overwhelmed right now, but I mean, you just don't know. Obviously, I think that might be why he wants to bring Clarkson off the bench instead of Lou Williams. And then he'll come in, maybe he'll make some threes every now and again. Nick Young, I kind of agree with Gonzo. Maybe they're just kind of playing him just in case they can't get the scoring they want out of Ingram, because so far he hasn't showed it yet. I mean, you look at his scoring lines in the preseason: 3 points, 4 points, 6 points. That's terrible. And it's not like he's only playing 8 minutes a game. He's getting 20 minutes a game in the preseason. He's got to do better than that. He's the second pick. Go ahead, Pete. One more thing real quick, Pete. And this is kind of off topic, because I want to help our podcast out here. So I'm going to give my first plug of the year. So I hope the Gatorade people are watching this. I've got this Gatorade Propel here, strawberry kiwi. Everybody check it out. It's good stuff. Hopefully someone from Gatorade hears. They can help us out and give us a sponsor.
Nice. We'll take that. But going kind of piggybacking off what you said with Brandon Ingram, his shot selection, hit or miss. He's too skinny right now. He's got to hit the weight room. Defensively, not able to stick with guys. And what I question with him is that instinct and as far as a killer drive going to be there in the future. Because right now I just don't see it. He kind of slumps his shoulders down like, damn, I missed. Runs down court and just kind of gets down on himself. And I don't want that to carry into the season because a guy like Nick Young will be all about himself and throw himself out there and say, I'm Swaggy P, and try to take minutes away, jacking 4 or 5 shots up. And and try to get those, quick buckets. And we all know if you're hitting points in abundance, Brandon Ingram minutes could decline if somebody like that is scoring at a high rate. Now, I personally think Nick Young is he should have already been gone. He should have got his ass dropped when he snitched on D'Angelo last year. Or when D'Angelo snitched on him, I'm sorry. He should have been out the door because if they have to go between Nick Young and D'Angelo Russell, they're going to pick D'Angelo Russell. So, and if I was Nick Young, I would have kicked D'Angelo Russell's ass, but, that's just me. But, looking at the bench, if you're playing Anthony Brown, you're in trouble. He's a guy that most likely is more of a D-League guy than a actual NBA roster guy. Looking at Marcelo
Huertas.
Yeah, Huertas. He's the third-string point guard, battling Calderon. Calderon's 35. He's on his way out. He can still hit threes, but he's not defending anybody. He might get you a couple of assists, but just not really going to play a lot. And then looking at Tariq Black versus Yee. Yee can hit threes, but I'm not signing a guy to come over and hit a couple outside shots, and that's about it, because he damn sure is not defending anybody, and he doesn't have any post moves, and he didn't even dominate in China. So that should tell you a lot when you're not dominating.
He's decent. He was decent. He can hit. He can hit the occasional open three. Yeah. He's a good shooter. He's not great, but he's a good shooter.
He'll make the team, but if he's playing over Tariq Black, I think that, that's a mistake, because I think what Tariq Black can bring is more rebounding, hustle, and Yee doesn't rebound very well.
So Pete, no Meta World Peace on this team then.
I don't think Meta makes a team unless you cut a guy like Nick Young. Meta, to me, shouldn't have made the team last year, but he willed his way to a spot at the very last minute. I think he is, at this point, a more mature veteran leader, but at the same time, I don't think you look at him as being somebody that can contribute on a nightly basis. So, no, I don't think he makes the team, honestly.
And I think Kobe had a lot to do with last year.
Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right. And
that's Kobe's boy.
He's good.
And, I think he could help. He did help Julius Randle a good bit last season as far as, development-wise, having a guy kind of defend Randle, get him a little bit more, ball handling as far as moves and things like that to be able to go against what still could be an above-average defender. Obviously, Meta's not at the level he used to be, but, he's still a lot better than a lot of guys that Randle would have seen on the defensive end, going against him every day in practice. But Brandon Ingram, I'm definitely going to look at the first 20 games to kind of see how he handles that, because he's going to have nights where, he scores 2 points, 1 for 8, 1 for 9 shooting, and really struggles, because there's a difference between, KD coming in needing some weight and a guy like, Brandon Ingram who, really has to work on his shot. He does not have the shot that Kevin Durant came in with, nor the ball handling skills and killer instinct that Durant have. Because I've seen a lot of people compare the two, and I'm like, there's no comparison in my mind whatsoever.
Yeah.
Going into the second question, Mike, going back to you. So Luke Walton was hired as the head coach, obviously. We got to see what he could do with the Warriors last season, the 24-0 kind of start for them. What do you look for out of Walton this season, and what kind of style of play do you think he'll bring to the team?
He's going to establish right in front that it's about being in your role, staying in your role, and playing defense. They're going to play fast. They're going to rebound the ball and get up the floor. They're not waiting to get it to a point guard. Everybody's going to push except for Mozgov, of course. But they're going to push, get easy shots or early shots that look good. Hopefully they can play a little defense to be a good competitive group. But they're definitely going to just define what their motive is as a squad right now.
Okay. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on Walton and kind of what he's going to bring?
I think it's so easy to say that Luke Walton is going to push the tempo and they're going to play defense and all this stuff here. And I go back to last season. Everybody told Luke Walton was 24-0. Honestly, If I took Michael Jackson's chimpanzee Bubbles and he sat behind Steve Kerr for a year with that team, I'm quite sure he can coach them to a 24-0 too.
Damn.
And the point I'm trying to make is that when you got those type of players, and just look a little bit at the roster. This is why Golden State, Luke Walton looked like a great coach. First of all, Steph Curry is an okay, like in the lane defender. Klay Thompson's a good man-to-man defender. Iguodala's a good man-to-man defender. Andre Boga's a good man-to-man defender. Harrison Barnes is an okay man-to-man defender. Draymond Green is a decent decent man-to-man defender. Sean Livingston is an okay man-to-man defender because he has length. They have the players to do that. They also have the players that can shoot the three and shoot that ball.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers don't have that,
and they all can. So, they can pretty much all dribble, pass, shoot.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they have all the fundamentals that you would like. Klay Thompson, he's a streaky shooter at times, but the man plays both ends of the floor, and he averages 20 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry can get you 30. He can get you 7 assists. He can get you 5 rebounds. He's shooting like 45 from threes, and I'm talking about.
And he's going to steal, and he's going to get steals.
Get steals. Draymond Green's going to knock down the three, get loose balls, get rebounds. He can make a few threes and hit mid-range shots. It's just they have a group of good players on that Golden State team. And that's what makes it's going to make the coaches look better than they should because they have these they have these really good players. Nothing on with Steve Kerr because I have to give Steve Kerr a little credit. They kept losing every year, not making it to the finals. He did something to push him over the hump that got him to there, got him to that point. So I got much credit to Steve Kerr. But I'm talking about everybody who falls under Steve Kerr who's probably going to get these jobs coaching. Trust me. It's not because of their coaching. It's not because they're good. It's because they came under Steve Kerr and they were coaching the Golden State Warriors. Believe that. It's just that.
Yes.
Matt, what's your thoughts, man?
I think Gonzo does raise some good points, and I do not look at that as hatred because he does raise some good points. I mean, that's just a fantastic basketball team. He was there when they started out 24-0. I mean, Stephen Curry was arguably having one of the greatest offensive seasons we've ever seen, just throwing up threes everywhere. They're going in. Klay Thompson, Draymond, they were fantastic. But I think he wants to kind of use some of that stuff. Hence, guys on the floor, you get the rebound, you go with it. Kind of like what Golden State could do. Even Bogut could bring it up a little bit for them. But I think that's what he wants to do. I think he wants to have them move the basketball more, not a lot of isolation type plays. So we'll see how Russell does. Guys like Russell and Clarkson do with that. Defensively, they're going to have to get after it, but you got Mozgov, you got guys like Luol Deng, and Clarkson's going to play some D, Larry Nance. So I think he can do some things. I think they will be better this year. And I know I've talked, I talk about this a lot. I go to the offensive and the defensive rating. The Lakers were 30th in defensive rating and 29th in offensive rating. I'm assuming they can only get better from that. They can't be that bad. I think the Brooklyn Nets will probably be there, in both categories, 30. So the Lakers should be able to improve in those things, and I think Luke Walton's gonna attempt to do some of those things. But we are going to see if he can coach. He doesn't exactly have the best roster in the NBA with this team. He's got some nice young players, but we'll see what he can do with them. And I think the biggest thing is changing the culture around, much like what Mark Jackson did in Golden State. When he came in, he changed that culture.
Yep.
So maybe that's, I think, what the biggest thing Luke Walton has to get in there and do, change the culture around. Mm-hmm. Kobe's gone. That era's done. There's no more Phil Jackson. It's the Luke Walton era. Change it around.
Yep.
Absolutely. Only on this podcast do we get a Bubbles reference and Michael Jackson reference in the same. But
we give the people what they want.
Exactly.
Certainly in the right city. Might be able to find them.
Yeah. For me, looking at kind of what Walton's going to bring, a lot of people look at the similarities of the Golden State Warriors offense, and I just don't see that transitioning over to the Lakers because, you saw a lot of motion, you saw a lot of dribble handoff action, pin down screens, things like that, but there's also phenomenal shooters on the Warriors. You don't have that on the Lakers. Russell can shoot here or there. Clarkson is getting better with the shot, but that's about it because Luol Deng's kind of taken a step back as far as producing on a nightly basis. So the closest that I could see is kind of having maybe Julius Randle play a little bit of that Draymond Green role without the three-point shot, being able to facilitate the offense a little bit, things like that. Now, the Lakers were last season in assists to 18 per game.
And one thing about that, Pete, with Randall, he may be the starting lineup's best playmaker.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you could look at I like D'Angelo Russell when he's facilitating a little bit more, but I just don't think right now he's at that point where he's going to be a consistent facilitator. He's going to look to score more. And with Clarkson, if he does start, all he's going to do is score. And if you have Lou Williams in there starting, all he's going to do is score. So you have to have somebody being able to pass the ball on a consistent basis. So you're absolutely right there that Randall could be their best, playmaker and actually probably, tied with D'Angelo Russell for lead and assists on the team.
Yeah, and the only thing with Russell, and maybe it's just the games that I've seen. But is it just me, or does he have trouble getting to some of the spots that he wants to get to on the floor? It's not easy for him.
Well, he's always been slow-footed. That was why I didn't want the Sixers to take him, because I felt like he had trouble getting past a lot of even above-average defenders in college. And we all know the NBA is twice as fast as college. So if he's struggling there, he's going to struggle against elite defenders on the
which is why he's got to be able to knock down those threes, because of that he can create space that way using shot fakes and stuff if he's a threat from three.
Absolutely. So that takes us back to you, Mike, for question 3. Obviously, the continued development of D'Angelo, Jordan Clarkson, and Julius Randle is the most vital piece for the team this season. What specifically do each of them need to do to be able to elevate their games to kind of take a leap forward this year? And the second part of that is, as far as the expectations on Brandon Ingram being the number 2 pick, what do you see for him coming off the bench this year? He has struggled really badly in the summer league and preseason so far.
With D'Angelo, it's going to be like how heavily dependent on the pick and roll is he really going to be? Because you see it's basically the biggest part of his game. He came out of a high school system that ran pick and roll the most. College, it played well for him. So far in the preseason, the same. He had, 33 against the Nuggets. Team that's not really going to scare anybody, but 33 is 33 in the league. And if he continues to push that pace and do it against higher caliber point guards, who knows what could happen with him as a point guard. He might be able to even scratch his name on the ballot a little bit. He might not make the squad, but he'll make an all-star ballot. With Brandon Ingram, I think he just has to relax. Of course, the game's fast. You're one of the top picks. He's a little nervous right now. It happens to all of them. I've seen it. It's such a fast game that guys get caught up in it. Because if you watch the training camp they showed on TV, he's comfortable. He's getting buckets. He's winning the one-on-one battles. But when you get 5-on-5, when dudes is really coming after you because they know you got that 2 pick on you, they're going to keep coming at his head left and right. He just has to get comfortable in his own skin playing out there on the floor under those lights. Playing under those banners and retired jerseys can get hard for anybody. And Julius has just got to be Julius. Be smart about it. Just that the play at the end of the game the other night was a key thing. Like, yeah, you made a great play getting a rebound, but why are you pushing it in certain situations like 40 seconds left up 2? Relax. You don't need the crazy stuff. Just be happy, be comfortable in the role that you're set in, and he'll be fine. Because I've seen him in high school, 6'9", 220 wing player. Dude was a small forward on his high school team, not AAU. And dude had 30, fouled out in the third quarter. But he was making those stupid decisions, playing great, but making stupid decisions. They're still carrying over. But now if he can just bring his mind to the game with him, it'd be even better.
Spoken like a true coach. Gonzo, what you got?
Russell, in my opinion, I think he needs to improve on getting to the rim more, drawing more fouls. I think if you kind of look at Russell Westbrook, and I'm not comparing the two because Russell Westbrook. I'm not comparing that, but the point I'm trying to make is that when Russell Westbrook got in his mind and going to attack the rim, it opened up his passing to up his assist. He go to the free throw line more. So I think that Russell could become a playmaker by going to the rack more. It would help instead of settling for threes a lot. Clarkson, I think Clarkson can improve on his defense, but I want Clarkson to also improve on his three-point shooting. Randall, I like Randall's motor skills. I like the fact that he can run the floor as a big man. I like the fact he can grab rebounds. I want him to develop a mid-range shot. I want him to continue to improve that because I think that could help stretch the floor. You know, it makes better spacing for the team as well. And Brandon Ingram, I wouldn't put a lot of expectation on him right away because he only played a year in college. Then his body hasn't really hit that, I want to say, man development yet because he still kind of has a high school body. He's like 6'11", 180 pounds. You know, I mean, I think he's 196, but he's light. So right now, my expectation for him to be something very small, to do the best you can to come off the bench and add double and get your numbers up to double figures. If you get 10 points a game as a rookie, I think he's doing a good job. He can improve the rest, but at least get that scoring going, and then you can kind of see what else you can work on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Matt.
With Russell, I think, you know, continue working on your outside shoot, become a consistent 3-point shooter. Got to work on the defense. He's got to have to be, you know, going against the point guards every night. He's going to have to learn. He's going to have to improve on the D. And then I know he's never going to be a great athlete, but work on some of his explosiveness so that he can get to his spots, attack the basket, and like Gonzo said, get that mindset to attack the rim, and then he can be, you know, do kind of the Russell Westbrook, James Harden thing, kick it out to open shooters, and that with Clarkson, continue to work on the defense. I like he's a superior, you know, great athlete. Become a consistent 3-point shooter. With Randall, like Mike said, just keep doing what you do. Add that consistent jump shot, and hey, maybe you can stretch it out to the 3-point line and become a nice little stretch four with all the other skills he has. He could be a really, really nice player for them. And with Ingram, I don't think they're really expecting too much from him this year. I think they just want him to learn the game, improve on his body, build some confidence, adjust to the NBA game, because he definitely doesn't look ready. He's not Kevin Durant.
No.
You know, and they're about the same age, same build when they both came in, but Kevin Durant was dropping 20 every game. Ingram's not going to do that. I don't think he's ready. I don't think Ingram's ready.
And with Ingram, that's what I want to see first and foremost. Take the game as it comes. Learn the right way. Learn your spots, when to take shots. That's the biggest thing with KD. He knew when to take shots, even though he played 2 guard to start in Seattle, you know, when he was drafted by Seattle under PJ Carlesimo. And Bob Hill, basically, you know, he was still able to get to his spots. And as his body filled out, you know, he was able to do more in the post, kind of take guys off the dribble, kind of power his way through. And that's what Brandon Ingram's going to learn. You know, take it as it comes right now. You know, 9-10 points a game off the bench. That's not bad your rookie year. Next year, up it to, you know, 14, you know, and up at your third year, make that leap once you start adding some more things to your game. Jordan Clarkson, that perimeter shooting is going to have to be his calling card. He's, you know, already athletic, but he's going to have to be able to keep defensive players honest and really be able to shoot from the outside. Russell, same thing. He's slow-footed, in my opinion, to be a point guard. And sometimes his decision-making isn't the best either. And so he's going to have to work on that this season. On the defensive end, he's going to have to get to where Jordan Clarkson already is. That would be my goal for him this year. There's guys like Luol Deng on the team that can mentor a guy like Brandon Ingram, guys like Russell and Clarkson. Lou Williams, I don't know how much he's going to be able to mentor anybody on the defensive end, but just being around you know, various types of teams and being a veteran guy, he can be a voice there as well.
Is that what he does, though? Is he capable of that? He doesn't strike me as a guy who's just going to be a mentor to a young player. I could be totally wrong.
He actually, I mean, I think he can be a voice there as far as being able to show Russell, you know, this is where to pick your spots to score. I think he can do that. I don't think he's going to be a leader in the locker room per se, but that's why you have, some other guys there, to help. Even Huertas, with his, even though he's a second-year guy, his leadership overseas, he's able to help kind of with running an offense to help Russell. Same with Jose Calderon.
Yeah.
And then Julius Randle, I just exactly like Mike said, just make smart decisions. You don't have to do everything all at once.
Don't be dumb Blake Griffin.
Yeah, don't start dribbling the ball at the end of the game and lose it off your foot and everything
Or
else.
do a spin move and the ball goes out of bounds.
Don't do anything crazy. Work on that 18-foot jumper this year, extend it out to 3 next year. Be able to kind of take some guys off the dribble here and there, but don't, stick to rebounding, stick to, tip ins and put back dunks, things like that. Work on that Draymond Green role as the season moves on. It doesn't have to come all at once. Obviously, the expectations are to build around the young guys and get back to a winning culture. What do the Lakers have to do in order to surprise some teams this season? We know they're not making the playoffs. How can they end up better than a lot of us expect in the West, Mike?
Just stick to the principles. Trust the process. Well, not Joel Embiid or anything, but it's going to be rough. Just looking at them, they're going to be – I see them as like the best of the bottom dwellers. You know what I mean? They're not going to attempt to run at anybody like toward that A spot, but if they just trust that process, dudes get comfortable in what they're supposed to be doing. Trust Luke Walton and what he's doing. He's got the pedigree for it. Lean on the veterans for leadership, like with the words, but them young guys are going to have to get thrown into the fire. Just stick with the program. Take your lumps because they're going to take them on a nightly basis. You're not going to play Denver every night and get 33 out of your point guard in a close game. You're going to get thumped a little bit, and just trust it because halfway through the season when they're getting beat down and everybody can just start relaxing, and Brandon Ingram can start some games and get into the flow.
Yeah. Gonzo, what's your thoughts?
I don't want to be long with this, but I have to make a point. Okay. The Lakers have always been able to sign big free agents like Wilt, Kareem, Shaq. They always picked up free agents, and they've always expected the team to win. I think the best thing right now when you have a young team like this is to put no expectations on them at all right now. Allow them to learn from their mistakes, and it'll build their character. And then you got to look at this too, right? The Lakers were a goal, and everybody knows that in order for gold to reach its final form, and it first has to go through the fire first. So allow this young team to go through the fire. And like I said, don't put a lot of expectations on them. Let them get their bumps and bruises. Let them accept their losses and their defeats. And it only make them better. And most importantly, let them build chemistry and not discord. And I mean, think like that little thing with D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young last year. Hopefully Luke Walton kind of checks all that before the season starts. Because I think when you got a young team, it's very important to build chemistry. Chemistry is the main thing first. If you can build chemistry, then you can start defining people's roles. Then it'll give you confidence to perfect your particular skill that you're good at, or perfect a skill that you might not be good at. And after a while, you'll find yourself gelling as a team and meshing as a team, and you'll find yourself creeping in, snatching wins that you didn't think you were able and capable of making. So I think right now that's the main thing for them. Put no expectation on them at all. Let them learn from their errors.
Matt.
I don't think I don't think this team has a lot of expectations just for the young guys to continue to improve. Like Mike said, they're going to get thumped. They're going to have their moments where they're just going to get blasted, and they just have to work through it, get comfortable, especially guys like Ingram, get used to playing the NBA game. As far as better than for them finishing better than expected, absolutely not. I don't have them dead last because we know I got the Kings last because I just don't have any confidence in the Kings. I have the Lakers right behind the Kings, though, finishing 14th in the West. They're not going to be very good this year, and I don't think you can really judge them on wins or losses. I think they'll win a couple more games than last year, but not by much, and I don't think you can judge them by wins and losses. I think the key is how are these young guys improving? Are they ready to step up and be in that next great Lakers team?
Absolutely. I think Gonzo pretty much said exactly what I was going to say, trial by fire, more or less. The team has to gel together. You win by adversity, and how they come out of that adversity this season, especially, if D'Angelo can take on a leadership role for next season, or Jordan Clarkson, if he is a six-man, can he accept that role and thrive in it? And Julius Randle just taking a step forward. And whatever you get out of Brandon Ingram this year, that's going to be great to see. Even Timothy Mozgov. I mean, as much people laughed about him getting signed, I think he's there to do the dirty work. He's not there to give you 16 points and 12 rebounds a night. If he gives you 8 to 10 rebounds and 4 points, I mean, that's decent for what he can bring. But he's just there kind of to be more that big presence, big body, and kind of help defend the rim as well. So we'll see what happens. As far as finishing in the West, I mean, I have them finishing last. I mean, I don't think that there's a team other than maybe, someone like the Pelicans that might struggle because of so many injuries, or Phoenix, who I don't think is going to be, that great.
The Kings.
No, the Kings. I mean, I got the Kings at 13, just because the only reason I have them there is because of guys like Matt Barnes and Garrett Temple, and DeMarcus Cousins is going to do his thing. So we'll have to see. But Mike, going back to you, give me 3 keys that you think may make or break the Lakers' season.
Defining roles, first and foremost, because D'Angelo's got to be the leader on the floor. They're giving him the ball. We got to be smart and everything, just from everybody top to bottom. Can Calderon be cool with just being a locker room guy? Because he still wants to play. From the last guy to the top guy. Develop your defensive principles. Because offensively, you're going to get up whatever shot you want. They're just going to be free about it. Pass the ball, move around. But defensively, can you lock in and have a system? And then number 3, just be free. Because if anybody starts getting into that, Nick Young wanting minutes, Lou Williams not being happy with losing, Luol Deng is just going to be Luol Deng. But can the young guys stay focused and on that right path?
Mm-hmm.
Gonzo, what's your keys for the Lakers?
My keys, I got 2 makes and 1 break. My 2 makes is defining the roles and defense. That's obvious. And the third one is definitely going to break this season is that bench. Scandalous and disgusting.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt, what's your keys?
One, I'm going to go with, like I talked about before, just Luke Walton, I think is the big key, changing the culture with this basketball team. 2 is I'm gonna combine them, as I mentioned earlier, 30th in defensive rating, 29th in offensive rating. And I'm not a big analytics guy, but when you go through defense and offensive ratings, you'll look, those teams who rank from 1 to like 15, 16, those are the teams who are in the playoffs. So there's something to those 2 stats right there. So definitely they've got to work on the offense and the defense. And third is just the development of the youth. Continue to improve. Clarkson, Russell, Randall, Ingram, Larry Nance Jr., those guys. I think those are the 3 things for the Lakers.
You guys pretty much hit on every point that I was going to make. Defining roles, defense, and that horrible bench. I think it's one of the worst benches, to be honest, in the league. I mean, there's not much to be optimistic about outside of Larry Nance Jr. and Brandon Ingram. I mean, I just don't, even if you have Lou Williams as your backup too, I mean, Jose Calderon, it's time for him to hang it up in another year. Huertas can't defend anybody. He can run an offense, but that's about, not to a degree where you want him as your second point guard. Yee coming in, if he's the backup center over Tariq Black, you're in trouble. So I'm not very optimistic about that bench. Defensively, they can't go anywhere but up. I think they're going to be better than, some other teams. I think the Heat take a step back defensively. Not all the way to the bottom of the rankings, but teams will take a step back to where the Lakers could take a couple notches up, get to 22, 23 rather than, 29th. And offensively, they're going to put up more points this year because it's not isolation basketball. like it was last year, so they'll finish.
And they don't have to worry about Kobe.
Exactly. So we all know that Russell and Clarkson aren't shy for shooting the ball, so they'll get points up in a hurry there. But going into the last question, Mike, give me a bold prediction for the Lakers this year.
As a team,
Or it could be a player. It doesn't have to be the entire Lakers team. You can give me a player if you want.
All right. I'll say Brandon Ingram starts more than half the games. He's going to get comfortable early, and they're going to be risking it as far as having Luol Deng play. He's a little injury prone now, every now and then. But also just the fact that he's a number 2 pick, they're going to take them lumps early and be like, well, if we're going to take him now, we might as well throw him in the fire now. Throw that core in the fire and let them grow together, especially if you think he's going to have that all-star potential. Let him get it now because most of the greats took those lumps early. Melo averaged 20 on a Nuggets team that made it, and he was a little shaky at first. That's just me, and I saw it up close.
Yeah, most of those, the only two, like I think Wade and Carmelo were the only two of those great that made the playoffs their first year.
Yeah, because Bron missed it.
Yeah. Denver got in the 8th seed, got spanked by Minnesota.
Indeed.
Yep. Gonzo, give me a bold prediction.
The Lakers will have the first pick in the NBA draft next year.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, Matt, what's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction for this team is going to be a trade. I think Jordan Clarkson gets traded at some point.
Wow, that is bold. Okay.
Yeah, I think he gets moved. I don't know why. That's just the guy I think is going to get moved.
Okay. Nice. I was going to kind of go along the lines of what Mike said about Brandon Ingram in starting lineup. I actually think they put Luol Deng at the 4 and move Randall to a small ball 5. That's going to end up being their most successful lineup. I don't think they run with it every game, but I think overall that's going to be their most successful lineup. But I think that if Luol Deng comes off the bench, I don't think he'll have a problem with that because I think Ingram, right before the All-Star game, maybe mid-January, the light bulb pops on and he just starts taking over and shows, exactly why he was the second pick. And Matt, I kind of was teetering with the trade there, looking at a guy like Jordan Clarkson, but because, being newly signed, I didn't want to go that bold, but I like that. I like the boldness of that move because I don't know if he is a 6-man, how well he's going to accept that, kind of.
That's kind of what I was going with there. I don't know if he wants to be, and I think they may make him the 6-man. He's not going to like that too much.
No, not at all.
That I don't see it because they got to have somebody to play D in the starting lineup. They're going to get down 20 in the first quarter without Jordan Clarkson's athleticism.
Yeah. I hope Luke goes with him. That would be the smart thing.
I hope so too, because Lou Williams cannot guard very many people. I mean, I played against Lou Williams back when I was he was in high school and I was just coming out of high school, and he was quick on offense and could shake the hell out of you. But defense, I mean, if I can drive on him, then he ain't. He might have got a hell of a lot better, as far as, the NBA. But if I can drive on him and get, a little bit of a step on him, I'm not saying I took him all the way to the hole, but if I can get that first step.
Pete, are you saying you don't have a great first step? Is that what you're telling the people?
I don't need to have a first step. All I need to have is, 0.2 seconds to get that shot off.
There you go.
So I don't need to have ball handling. I'm a shooter.
There you go.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to wrap us up for this show. For anybody that wants to check out any of our other shows or this show, you can go to our YouTube page. Go to Unquestionably Raw Podcast. Subscribe to the page, like the videos, reply or give us some comments underneath the video. Same thing for iTunes. You can go on iTunes, Unquestionably Raw Podcast. Give us some reviews. We don't have any reviews up there, although we are getting a very high amount of downloads in our ranking on the sports and recreation section. We don't have reviews, so please go and review the show if you like what you're hearing. Subscribe to the podcast so it auto-downloads.
Shoot, if you don't like it, tell us why you don't like it.
Yeah, give us constructive feedback. We're always looking for new additions, and I've had quite a few people hit me up and want to come on. For those of you that I have not answered back yet, the reason I have not done that is because we're trying to keep to the same format for the season previews. As we roll during the season, we'll kind of spread it out and add some new flavor onto the show. And as we, kind of review the weekly games and look to preview the following week. So that's kind of when you'll get on. So, DM me again if you want to come on, and we'll go from there. For those that are keeping up with the season previews, we've got a double header tomorrow evening, 4 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern, we've got the Phoenix Suns preview, and then at 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to preview the Oklahoma City Thunder. So until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow night.